Okay, so let's talk about Nazism and how it directly relates to what the US is doing. So even taking aside the experimentation on me, the shunning, the psychological torture, what are just point blank facts that they can't argue around? The Nazi Party chose to exterminate people that had a mental illness and mental disability. Do you remember that? Okay. Why is that the same as what the US is doing now? Well, it's been their contention that I have mental disability. I'm autistic, I'm Asperger's, I'm mentally disabled, handicapped. I mean, that's what you said, learning disorders. It all in a small brain. Right. Okay, so now it's a medical thing. Okay, is that my fault? It's not true, but if it were, is that my fault? No. Would you go up to someone who has these things and say, stop doing that? No, you wouldn't. And then on top of that, you're saying that I have mental illness. Okay, would you go up to a totally certifiably crazy person and say, stop doing that? No. Why? Because you can't hold a crazy person responsible for being crazy. You ever hear of pleading insanity? Do you know why that saves them from jail? Because if they are found to be insane, they're not found to be liable for their actions. So, okay, the US is both calling me these things and then trying to turn around and hold me responsible for it as if I'm normal. You can't have it both ways. You can't have these contentions and then turn around and go, well, she should get a job. If I have all these problems, there's no way I can have it. And I would be on disability, which incidentally, if I had actually been mentally ill and had been put in the loony bin 3 times, I would be on disability and I get monthly checks. So part of the proof that that didn't happen is get monthly checks. Yeah, it's necessarily true. And that doesn't just run out. It's not food stamps or something. It's you're crazy, then you're crazy. Okay. And actually having a small brain would be another mental handicap that I'd like to get checks for. It's a medical problem. And you can't be asked to do the same normal things that people are asked to do. Okay. On top of that, you guys had a contention that I have AIDS. Isn't that correct? From fucking gay men? Right. Oh, yeah, okay. So it is your contention necessarily that I'm dying. But then when I say that I'm dying from what your team won't shut up about, which is cancer, you guys say she's not really dying. Well, you just said I was. You just said I was, and then you said that I'm not. So how do you have it both ways? So it is necessarily, and then you turn around and say, well, she could go to a doctor. We'll just assume she has money, and we'll assume that she's able to be responsible for her mentality, and we'll presuppose that despite all evidence, countless pieces of evidence, that it seems wherever she goes, people lie, we'll presuppose that she's incorrect and can go to a doctor that's not going to lie and or inject her with something far more harmful. I don't know why you'd presuppose that, but if you did, okay. But what you're saying is, then, crazy people and mentally handicapped people should die. Should be left on the streets without intervention to die. That's what you're saying, necessarily, Nazi America. Look what you're doing. Look what you did. So, the government-sanctioned campaign, and has been for 3 years, is that they feel that because of a family's sentiments, that people who are mentally handicapped and mentally ill should die. Should not have an intervention to get them medical help. Wow. Now, the U.S. is going to try to absolve themselves. Well, we can't be held responsible for everybody on the street. But you are. I didn't ask you to do this. I didn't ask you to point the camera on me for 3 years. The second you did that, you became responsible for me. That was not my choice. That was yours. So why are you absolved from your responsibility? Are you crazy? Right. And you are. You're systematically fucked in the head. Okay? So that out doesn't work because you are responsible because of what you know or claim to know. You're claiming that I have AIDS and am dying, and you know this. And you're not doing anything to stop it because my family wants me to tough it out with having a medical, whatever medical stuff you said I had wrong with me, plus a small brain. That's a medical issue, you guys. I mean, that's a real legit medical issue that is not anyone's fault. Being retarded, having learning disorders, and having, 17,000 mental illnesses that you can't quite form into any category. And yet I should be held to the strictest degree of self-responsibility. Does that sound crazy to you? That sounds fucking crazy to me. And unless I check myself into a mental ward, then I shouldn't be awarded anything. You can't hold a crazy person liable. You just can't do it. And yet that's what my family is asking you to do. And it's either that they're inept in the head or that they're fucking crazy. Okay? In which case, then I ask you to reverse. Let's give them the same treatment that you gave me and let them die. Let them die. That's what you said. That is the government-sanctioned policy for me. So when I make these comparisons to Nazi Germany, realize I'm not far off. This was the government's idea. This was the actual sanctioned way. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in a folder too of, this is day one of me starting to say, here's all the ways the US fucked up. And it's going to continue because you're not going to do anything to take self-responsibility. So I'm going to hold you accountable because you won't. And history is going to go down. It's not just America that's going to write this history, you guys. And everyone's going to know exactly who you are. I'm over it. You're not going to help me. It's fucking obvious. I've shown you so many pieces of evidence. And you don't want to do it. So let's talk about what you want to do. And it's this.